Inspiration. I will show you some of my other projects and explain how to overall approach such type of games. My hope is to help you translate your knowledge to other categories and inspire you to try it out. Let's start with a helicopter game, Chopparh, which is quite similar to ours except its perspective is seen from the side. The view is horizontally scaled so we can fly in the x-axis of the room but not up or down. The helicopter has hit points as seen in the top and different types of bullets depending on which button you press. All of the bullets events checks through if statements if a certain variable is set to true. When shooting, this variable is set to false until an alarm resets it after a couple of frames. This way I make sure to only use one type of weapon at a time. All enemies have the same parent but are coded individually so they behave very differently. Some directly follow the player while others float around randomly. Enemies drop money when destroyed. These money are stored in a persistent object so they can be used across levels. Outside the level I store things such as money, experience and different helicopter parts the user can replace. They are all saved as variables in a persistent object. For each helicopter part I use the draw sprite function to display them instead of the regular draw self. The game is about earning experience, money and armor to complete increasingly difficult levels. Next we'll look at a classic memory game where images must match text. Every piece is an instance of an object that uses variables to decide whether it is text or image and who it matches with. The animation when clicking on a piece is done by reducing image X scale until it reaches 0, then it starts increasing again until back to full size of 1. There is also an invisible object that keeps track of the pieces to make sure we can only turn 2 at a time and also saves how many points we have, etc. In the bottom there's a timer that counts down in a step event. The image is drawn by the draw sprite function with an image X scale that increases over time. I can also mention the pieces are made in the creation code of the room with a series of random functions, then they are all placed in different spots every game. This last game is not completed but is just a prototype. You should often make a prototype first to find out whether your idea works out. In the game we have workers digging the stones we click. Every stone is an instance and contains the variable whether it has been pressed on and whether it contains gold. Our workers follow a grid to check if they can reach the marked stone and then finds the shortest path. Every worker has its own counter, a variable that increases every time the worker has dug a stone. When the counter reaches a certain number, the worker gains a level and increases his movement and digging speed. Everything is controlled by alarms, a grid and path. These kind of games are perfect as smartphone apps because all you have to do is click. You can add all kinds of enemies and various ways to defeat them. Give a shot at any category you like and play with the mechanics of the game.